Okay, we're in section 11, and I guess what we need to do is we need to do the examples in that section. All right, so we'll do the examples, and we'll start with number one. So let me go to the whiteboard. And let me see if I can do that. Okay, so let's look at number one. And number one says, find f prime at A. There's multiple ways of doing this, by the way. And certainly somebody says, is there any good way of doing something? The way that you feel comfortable doing is the way you want to do it. But I'm going to, I'll write this down. So f prime, whoops, sorry about that. F prime at A is limit h goes to 0. This would be h, f of A plus h minus f of A. Okay. What's f prime of A? I don't know, but I know what A is. So f prime of 3, what's it going to be? Limit h goes to 0. I'm just copying. F of 3 plus h minus f of 3 over h. Now, do I know what f is? Yes, it's right here. Let's put this down. So we got an h here. And let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be 1 over 3 plus h squared minus 1 over 3 squared, which is 9, right? Now, I got to do that limit. And the way I'm going to do it may seem strange to you, but I'm going to multiply top and the bottom by the minor LCD, which is 9, 3 plus h squared. 9, 3 plus h squared. Let's do that. I know it seems like a lot of work. And again, we are encouraging it, actually. What do you get on bottom? H times 9 times 3 plus h squared. What do you get on top? Well, it's going to be a little difficult. You're going to get 9 minus 3 plus h squared. Did I do that right? I think so. Let's write this down. A lot of work, though. That's 0, by the way. 9h, 3 plus h squared. What's going to be 9 minus 9, I'm squaring it now, plus 6h plus h squared, right? Oh, more work. Limit h goes to 0. 9h, 3 plus h squared. 9 minus 9 is nothing. You get minus 6h minus h squared. Well, I'm looking to get to do that limit. I got to divide through by h now, right? Limit h goes to 0. That would be minus 6 minus h over 9 times 3 plus h squared. Let's go to 0. If you go to 0, you get minus 6 on top, not a problem. And on bottom, you get 9 times 9, which is 81. I'm going to reduce that. And we'll check the answer key later. And by the way, in the answer key, you're going to see a different alternative method to doing it. The method you choose is up to you. Well, let's see what you get over there. I would divide by 3, right? Minus 2 27ths. All right, let's go to the next page, see how we did. And I see it over there. They used a different definition now, and look what they did. I think it's actually easier what they did. So that they did this over here, just using an alternative definition, minor LCD, they get this, did a factorization. So you may want to look at this over here and say, I prefer to do it this way. Here's the deal. You do it the way you like. All right, let's look at the next one. And again, I'm going to write it down. And, when I write these things down over here, maybe I'll just talk about what that, find f prime, I got to do it again, right? So f prime at 1, Well, I kind of like that, the second definition, right? It looks a little bit easier. Let's try it. All right, I already tried the first one. Let's try this one. Limit as x approaches a, well, a is 1, f of x, I'll write that down for you, minus f of a, well, that's 1. We'll do that later. And then what goes on the bottom? X minus 1. All right. Oh, boy, I got to do it now, right? So what do you get over here? Limit x goes to 1, x minus 1. Well, what's the function's the root of x plus 1, right? Minus, well, if it's evaluated at 1, it'll be root 2. Well, I got a problem now. And the problem is I got to do something here. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the top's conjugate, which is root x plus 1 plus root 2. Root x plus 1 plus root 2. What do you get over here? Limit x goes to 1, x minus 1 times the root of x plus 1 plus the root of 2. What do you get on top? Well, the top looks pretty easy. It's really just x plus 1 minus 2, which is x minus 1. Now, what do I know about this? I know I'm approaching 1, but I'm never going to touch it. So these things are non-zero. I know that much. What do you get over here? Well, the limit's pretty easy now. What do you get? You get 1 on top, and on the bottom, you're going towards 1. You get root 2 plus root 2, which is 1 over 2 root 2. I like that answer. But I want to point out some students will rewrite this by multiplying top and bottom by the root of 2. Root 2 over 4. That's also a fine answer. Let's see what answer they listed. And they list this answer right over here. All right. I actually prefer that answer. Let's do the next one. A little more complicated, but the bottom line is, I think I'm ready to go. All right. So what do you get over here? F prime at 4 equals the limit as x approaches 4, f of x minus f of a, which is 4, over x minus 4. Let's keep going. Equals the limit x approaches 4, x minus 4. What's f of 4? Oh, it's a fraction. It's 1 over the square root. What would it be? It would be 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. All right, what do you get? What's f of x? 1 over the square root of 2x plus 1. All right. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the minor LCD. This might be a lot of work, but let's see what happens. Remember, if something doesn't work out, erase it and try something different. You get 3 minus the square root of 2x plus 1. On bottom, you get x minus 4 times 3 times the root of 2x plus 1. Well, I'm still in the same predicament, and that is I can't do the limit. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to multiply by the conjugate of the top. Let's write that down. Let's hope something nice happens. 3 plus the root of 2x plus 1, 3 plus the root of 2x plus 1. Limit x goes to 4, 3, x minus 4, root 2x plus 1, 3 plus the root of 2x plus 1. What do you get on top? Well, you get 9 minus 2x plus 1. All right. I realize sometimes they complain and say, so much writing, my pen's going to run out of ink. Yeah, it will. And I hope your pens are always running out of ink, that you're actually actively using a pen or a pencil. What does that give you? That would give you 8 minus 2x, right? I'm still in trouble. Well, I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to factor a 2 out. And what do you get? 4 minus x. What do you get in bottom? 3, x minus 4, root 2x plus 1. 3 plus root 2x plus 1. Yeah, it is work. Now, I want to tell you something about this, and we're getting close to 4, we're not touching it. So I want to point out these factors here. I'll underline them for you. These things will never be 0. But what do I notice about these things? They're not the same, they're opposites. So when math 100 was introduced as being opposites, they cancel the -1. Well, let's do that now. And what do you get? Whoops, sorry about that. Limit x goes to 4. It'll be -2 on top, 3 root 2x plus 1, and then you get 3 plus root 2x plus 1. I can use the limit laws now. What's the limit at the top? -2. Let's do the limit at the bottom. Pretty simple. It's going to be 3 times the square root of 9, which is 3. 3 plus the square root of 9, which is 3. Wow, a lot of 3's. What do you get? -2. And then you get 9. 3 plus 3 is 6. That's going to be -1. 9 times, well, 2 goes to 6 3 times, right? 27. Right? Do people make mistakes? Yeah, they are. They make mistakes. I think it's -127 though. So it's way too much work for me to do. We want you to do the work, right? -127. Bingo. Work will be done in class. We did that. All right. I got to be honest with you about number 4. I don't enjoy these myself, but the bottom line is they do give me a fairly detailed picture. It says, given the following graph, I see it. Now, this is figure 42, by the way. Estimate f prime at -2. And certainly when they say estimate, I'm not going to say everyone gets the same number. It's like asking estimate this guy's age or his height. Not everyone's get the same number. All right. But I do know they did say at -2. So I'm going to trace up. I'm going to say -2 is here. And what I got to do is I have to draw a tangent line in. And I'll be honest with you, I might not get the number they're getting because when I draw a tangent line in, sometimes I don't draw the best tangent line possible. But I'm going to say something like this over here. And someone's going to say, would you have a better chance if you used a ruler to get it right? And my claim is, yeah, I'd probably get a better looking picture if I did it by a ruler, right? I'm thinking anyway. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of try to draw a triangle in to get the rise and the run. All right. So now I got to look at the scale, and that's a problem for me. So I'm looking at the run. I know the slope is positive. I know that much. I'm looking at the run. So I'm seeing that this is the run here. So it's -2.4 to 1.6. Right. It's just an approximate. I'm not saying that I got these numbers proper. But according to my triangle, it looks about 0.8. Now let's look at the rise. That's a little more complicated, isn't it? And I'm looking at that, and it looks like it's starting at 0.4, and then it's going up. Let me trace over for you. It looks like right over here, right? Approximate. I'm not saying it's perfect. It doesn't have to be that. We're approximating these things. We're not saying it's perfect. All right. So let's see, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. It'll look about 1.4. And what would that number be? Well, if you're at 0.4 and you get to 1.4, you went up 1. Now, someone could say, is it really accurate what you did? It's a ballpark. So I'm going to say this is 10 over 8, or 5/4, or if I want to take a look at that, that would be 1.25. That's kind of outrageous, right? That kind of level of precision with my chunky looking graph. I'm going to say maybe roughly 1.3. Let's see what they got. Wow, they got 1.3. All right. So I'm going to make sure you know what I did. Over here, this is overly precise for what I'm looking at. My picture is really kind of crude. So I'm going to say, M is roughly, as they're saying, 1.3. Again, we recommend you use these pictures. What's nice about these pictures? You can blow them up if you like with your fingers. All right. Now, what do they want me to do? They said, estimate the slope. I've done that. So I'm going to say f prime at -2. Did I say -2? Yeah, -2. Well, it's approximately 1.3. Now, what else do they want me to do? And estimate the equation of the tangent line. Well, here comes my another problem. I got to get a point. Now, what do I know about this point? I know the x is -2. And what's the y? Let me trace over. And to me, that looks like 0.9. What's the equation of a line? Let me write this down for you. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. All right, what's y1? Let's write this down. Y minus 0.9. What I think m was? About 1.3. X minus, and again, what is it? Minus 2, which is plus 2. This is fine. Let's look at their answer, see what they got. And they got this. Same thing we got. We're doing okay. All right. Find f prime for blah, blah, blah. State the domain for both f and f prime. Okay, let's put this down. So I'm going to put the domain down for f. The domain of this guy over here is going to be minus infinity up to 1, union 1 to infinity. All right, I'm going to do the derivative now. It's tough. Let's put this down. F prime of x is going to equal to the limit as h goes to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. Limit h goes to 0. This is h minus f of x. I'll put this up here. 1 plus x, 1 minus x. What goes over here? 1 minus x minus h, 1 plus x plus h. All right. What am I going to do? Well, like what you did in a lower level algebra course, you multiply by what's called the minor LCD. The minor LCD is going to be 1 minus x minus h times 1 minus x. That's top and bottom. That's not so bad. Let's write this down now. Limit. It's going to be work, though. I think the worst thing people are facing in life is not having work or productive work. By the way, if you don't see what you're doing as being productive, you really want to find some major that you find to be productive and useful. All right, I got to do this over here. So what do I get? I get 1 plus x plus h times 1 minus x. That wasn't so bad. Minus 1 plus x times 1 minus x minus h. I still can't do the limit laws. Let's keep going. I know it's frustrating too. A lot of students ask, does this ever end? It actually, I'm going to say in mathematics, the beginning part's a lot of manipulation, but that's where, most people excel at the manipulation. What they don't excel at is the proof level, but you don't get the proof level unless you can get to manipulation. But I got to do this now. It's going to be a lot of work for me. So I'm going to take this 1 and distribute those to terms there. What do you get? 1 plus x plus h. And then I'm going to distribute the minus x across those terms. What do you get? Minus x squared minus xh. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Let's do this now. Minus, oh boy, this is going to be a tough one. Well, I'm going to distribute the 1 across. 1 minus x minus h. That's fairly simple. I'm going to distribute the x across that. What do you get? Plus x minus x squared minus xh. It looks like a nightmare. No doubt about it. Here's the deal. There are no nightmares. Everything's going to work out. H, 1 minus x minus h, 1 minus x. I'm going to be very careful here. 1 minus 1, that disappeared. All right. Now x minus x, that disappeared. All right, let's keep going. Minus x plus x, that disappeared. All right, let's keep looking. Minus x squared minus a minus x squared, that disappeared. My God, things are disappearing. What am I going to get left off with? H plus h, because it's minus and minus plus h, right? That's two h's, right? Hope I didn't make any mistakes. Minus xh minus a minus xh. Well, that disappeared. All right, now what am I going to do? Things worked out really nicely. Here's the deal. H is not 0, so these things cancel off. What are you left off with? A nice limit. 2 on top. We're left on bottom. 1 minus x squared. What's the domain of this? All real numbers except 1. Now, last one, I wonder if I'm right. That's a good question. Am I right? And this is why we provide detailed notes with solutions. Right there, work was done in class. We got it. We did it right. All right. Again, it's 2 over 1 minus x quantity squared. We did it. We did the work. All right. We're at the last one. A little frustrating, but I want to point out the domain of this guy because they do ask for it. What's the domain of this guy over here? Oh, by the way, the domain of the last problem of the function and its derivative were identical. Let's do this one now. So what's the domain of this guy over here? It's going to be, let's see, 1 minus x greater than or equal to 0, which means that x is going to be less than or equal to 1. So that's minus infinity up to and including the number 1. All right, let's do the derivative now. It's tough. F prime is limit h goes to 0. F of x plus h. I'm getting a little better though. I'll be honest with you. Just by trying and getting better. So 1 minus x minus h minus the f of x. Again, if you can't remember, just write it down. Or look at it. I'm sorry, not write it down, but look at it. Don't need to write it down. What I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the top's conjugate. I'm hoping things work out really nicely for me. And again, we're hoping that you can do this and that you have the necessary background to thrive in this area. All right. Large part depends on your background in the pre-calculus department. Let's write this down. Limit h goes to 0. The bottom is h times 1 minus x minus h plus 1 minus x. What do you get on top? Well, it's sort of a nightmare, but we can write it down. Conjugates are nice. Let's take a look. And what do I notice over here? 1 minus 1 is none. Minus x minus a minus x is none. And you're left off with minus h. Let me write that down for you. What do I notice about this over here? Well, h is not 0. So these cancel off the minus 1. Can I do that limit now? Yes. And what do I get? Minus 1. We'll check it in the key later. If h goes to 0, I get the root of 1 minus x plus the root of 1 minus x. This turns out to be minus 1 over 2 root 1 minus x. All right, what's the meaning of this guy over here? Well, it's almost like the other guy, but I can't have 1 because it's division by 0. So the domain of this guy over here is going to be minus infinity up to 1, but it can't touch that number. Let's check to see how we did. I got it. And I got it. And I got it. Everything is done. All right, let's talk about the interface route now. And some of these, the interface really say, gee, I'm glad that's over. I didn't enjoy anything you've done there, or I couldn't follow anything. Here's the deal. You're here. You need to go back over this and study this material. Does study take time and effort? A lot of time, a lot of effort. That's where a majority of a good education is, in the study department. And then, of course, after you study, this stuff over here, homework, whether it's written or web assigned, should become incredibly easy to do. We also hope you enjoy working at this. Otherwise, this might be futile activity. We want you to work on this. We want you to enjoy it somewhat. All right, thank you.